Okay, hello everyone in a new video in chapter 3, which is the chapter of velocity, part 1 for grade 8 students. Okay, so let's start by section number 1, which is given by instant time and duration. Then let's define the duration delta t to be given by. Then let me write the duration delta t is given by delta t is equal to t2 minus t1. So delta t is for duration. This is the duration. So it is a period of time, and t2 and t1 are instant times. Then here let me discuss the assignment of each quantity. Then let me write where delta t is the duration, the SI unit of the duration is seconds, and its symbol is given by S. T1 and T2 are instant times, and the SI unit is given by seconds, its symbol is given by S. So T1 may represent event 1 and T2 may represent an event 2, so the duration between the two events is given by the difference of the time. Then in order to make this clear, let me consider the following example. Then let me say that, so okay, example. So suppose that T1 is given by 100 seconds and T2 is given by 700 seconds. We are asked to calculate the duration delta T. So here, this delta, this is a triangle and we name it to be delta. This is a Greek letter, okay? So according to this formula, delta T is by definition T2 minus T1. Then let's say delta T is equal to T2 minus T1. Now the value of T2 in the SI is given by 700, and the value of T1 is given by 100. Then this is given by 600. Since T1 is expressed in seconds and T2 is expressed in seconds, so delta T will be also expressed in seconds. So delta T is equal to 600 seconds. So notice that here in this example they didn't specify the unit the unit of delta T. So whenever they don't specify the unit, we need to calculate the quantity in the SI. Now if we consider another example to be that T1 is equal to 50 seconds and T2 is equal to 340 seconds, and we are asked to calculate delta T. Then since they didn't specify the unit of delta T, so we must calculate delta T and the SI unit, and the SI unit of delta T is given by seconds, so this is the duration. Then by definition, so whenever we need, or let's say whenever we need to calculate a quantity as a first step, we start by writing the formula, which is given by T2 minus T1. Now the value of T2 is given by 340, and the value of T1 is given by 50. Then plugging this on the calculator, 340 minus 50 is given by 220. Since both T2 and T1 are expressed in the SI, which is seconds, then the value of delta T will be seconds. Then the duration separating these two events is given by 290 seconds. Now, let me move to the, okay, so let me consider also another example, example number 3. Then let's suppose now in this case we have that T2 is equal to 50 seconds and delta T is equal to 20 seconds, and we are asked to find T1. So since they didn't specify the unit of T1, then let's calculate it in the SI. We know that T2, delta T, and T1 are related via the following formula, that delta T is equal to T2 minus T1. Knowing that we are interested in determining the value of T1, so keeping T1 as a variable, the value of delta T is given by 20, the value of T2 is given by 50 minus T1. So what's the type of this equation? This is a linear equation. In one unknown, the unknown is T1, so how do you solve this equation? We put T on one side and all the other numbers on the other side. Then dragging minus T1 to the left hand side, we have T1 is equal to 50. Dragging 20 to the right hand side, it will be minus 20. Plugging this on the calculator, then the value of T1 is given by 30. Since both 50 and 20 are expressed in the SI, which is given by seconds, then the value of T1 is given by second. Then T1 is equal to 30 seconds. And this is reasonable because notice that in this case, if T1 is equal to 30 seconds, now the duration between these two events is given by 20 seconds. Now let's move to the next section, which is the stopwatch. So section number 2, stopwatch. So in order to measure time and duration, all of us have stopwatch on our smartphones. So what is a stopwatch? A stopwatch which is also known as chronometer, is an instrument that measures time, which is the instant time or duration. Now, always in physics, it's important to discuss units. Let's discuss the different units of time. Then let's start with the SI unit. The SI unit of time, as we have seen, the SI unit of time. Now SI stands for System International. The SI unit of time is seconds, and it's denoted by S. Let me specify a list of other units of time. And they are given by millisecond, days, years or years, year, minutes, hours, etc. All of these are units of time, but the one that we are interested in is the SI unit of time, which is seconds. Now also let me specify a list of conversion of units related to time, conversion of units related to time. Then from milliseconds, or let me say, okay, from milliseconds to seconds we divide by 1000. For this reason, going from seconds to millisecond we multiply by 1000. Now another important conversion for unit of time is the relation between hour, minutes and seconds. So let me write here that we have hour going down to minute, then to seconds. So seconds also can be written as seconds, so both of them are the same. So knowing that each hour contains 60 minutes and each minute containing 60 seconds, then each hour contains 3600 seconds. Now from seconds to minutes we divide by 60, from minutes to hour we divide by 60, from seconds to hour we simply divide by 3600. So previously we have reached example number 3. Let's continue these examples after we have introduced the stopwatch and the conversion of units. Now example number 4, we are in example number 4. So let me say that if T1 measured at the stopwatch, okay, so let me here also mention that the first 2 digits of the stopwatch represents the hours, the other 2 digits represents the minute, and the last digits on the right represents the second. Okay, so suppose that T1, the first event at the stopwatch, started at 8 hours, and the second event, okay, and the event finished at T2, which is given by 8:55. We are asked to calculate the duration between these two events. Suppose that these events are the physics class. It started at the instant time, 8 o'clock, and ended at 8:55. So we are asked to calculate the duration delta t. Since they didn't specify the unit in which we want to calculate the duration delta t, then we need to calculate it in the SI, which is seconds. So whenever we need to calculate a quantity, as a first step, we always write the formula. So delta t is equal to T2 minus T1. So usually we get half a mark for this formula. So it's given by 8:55 minus 8. Okay, so now 8 minus 8, so we have 0 hours. As for the minutes, 55 minus 0, it's given by 55. And for the seconds, we have no seconds, so this is given by 55 minutes. But notice that here they didn't specify the unit that we must calculate the duration, so we're asked to calculate it in seconds. Knowing that from minutes to seconds, we simply multiply by 60. Then this is given by 55 multiplied by 60. Now plugging this on the calculator, then the value of the duration is given by 3300 seconds. So delta t is equal to 3300 seconds. Now let me say example number 5, that we have T2 is equal to 30 minutes and T1 is equal to 50 seconds. We are asked to calculate the duration delta t. Then, as usual, since they didn't specify the unit of the duration, we are asked to calculate it in the SI. So as a first step, we always start by writing the definition or the formula, which is given by delta t is equal to T2 minus T1. But here notice that T2 is expressed in minutes and T1 is expressed in seconds. And let me write here the following important note. 1 cannot add or subtract quantities in physics unless they have the same unit. So by saying that T2 minus T1 is equal to 30 minus 50, this is completely wrong, because this is expressed in minutes and this is expressed in seconds. So let me say here that it is equal to 30 minutes minus 50 seconds, this is completely wrong because both quantities must be expressed in the same unit. And this can be done by simply converting 30 minutes into seconds. Then T2, which is equal to 30 minutes, knowing that in order to convert minutes into seconds, we simply multiply by 60. So this is equal to 30 multiplied by 60, and this is given by 1800 seconds after plugging it on the calculator. Now we are ready to calculate the duration delta t. Then delta t is equal to T2 minus T1, which is equal to 1800 minus 50. Now plugging this on the calculator, the value of the duration delta t is given by 1750. And all quantities in physics must have units. Since this is expressed in seconds and this is expressed in seconds, then the value of delta t is given by seconds. So in this case, delta t is given by 1750 seconds. Now example number 6, we have that the instant time for the event T2 is given by 30 minutes and T1 is equal to 15 minutes. We are interested in calculating the duration delta t. So let's start by writing the formula of the duration. Delta t is equal to T2 minus T1. Since here they didn't specify the unit of delta t, so we must calculate delta t in the SI, which is seconds. So let's convert T2 into seconds. Then 30 minutes. In order to convert from minutes to seconds, we multiply by 60. Then 30 multiplied by 60 is equal to 1800 seconds. Now converting T1 into seconds, 50 minutes, which is equal to 30 multiplied by 60, which is equal to 900 seconds. Therefore, in this case, the duration delta t is equal to T2 minus T1, which is equal to 1800 minus 900. Plugging this on the calculator, then the value of delta t is given by 900. Since both 1800 and 900 are expressed in the SI, so the value of delta t is in the SI because all quantities in physics must have unit. Now this could have been solved in another way, which is given by, so let me say here, or another method. So delta t is equal to T2 minus T1. We can replace T2 and T1, their values, which is given by minutes. So 30 minus 15 will be equal to 15. Here I didn't do anything wrong. I haven't done anything wrong because this is expressed in minutes. Let me erase. So what I have done here is that 30 minutes minus 15 minutes. I didn't break the above rule. As I have said here, we can add or subtract quantities in physics unless they have the same unit. I didn't say the SI unit. So the important thing is that they have the same unit. So here 30 minutes minus 15 minutes is accepted because both of them have the same unit. Then let me write 30 minus 15, which is equal to 15. Since both 30 and 15 are expressed in minutes, so the value of delta t will be expressed in minutes. Now here they are telling me to calculate delta t. They didn't mention the unit of delta t, so we are obliged to calculate it in the SI, knowing that in order to convert from minutes into seconds, we simply multiply by 60, then 15 multiplied by 60. Plugging this on the calculator, then the value of delta t is given by 900 seconds. So delta t is equal to 900 seconds. Okay. So let's consider the following exercise. So this exercise is found in chapter 3. I don't remember the page. I haven't written the page here. So, okay. The title of this exercise is duration. They are telling us to calculate the duration of the following events. So a television program begins at 15 hours. So T1 is given by 15 hours. And this can be written as according to the stopwatch. And ends at 16 hours 30 minutes, which can be written as 16:30. We are asked to calculate the duration delta t, which is given by t2 minus t1, which is equal to 16:30 minus 15. Now 16 minus 15 as for hours is given by 1 hour, as for the minutes is given by 30. So this is equal to 1 hour 30 minutes and 0 seconds. Now here they are telling me to calculate the duration. They didn't specify the unit, so we must calculate the duration in the SI unit, which is seconds. So knowing that each hour corresponds to 3600 seconds, so this is 1 multiplied by 3600 plus, now from minutes to seconds we multiply simply by 60, so it's given by 30 multiplied by 60. Recall that this one here is for hours and we have multiplied it by 3600 in order to convert it to the SI, whereas this 30 correspond for the minutes. Now plugging this on the calculator, let me calculate it. Then the duration delta t is given by 5400 seconds. Then delta t is given by 5400 seconds. Now in 6.2 they are telling me that a show starts at 20 hours 30 minutes, so T1 is equal to 20 hours 30 minutes. So according to the reading of the stopwatch, it's given by 20, 30, 2 zeros because 0 seconds. As for T2, at which the show ends, is given by 22 hours 15 minutes, and this can be written as 22:15, okay, according to the reading of the stopwatch. Then in this case delta t is equal to t2 minus t1, which is equal to 22:15 minus 20:30. So 22 minus 20 is given by 2 hours. Now here we have a problem because we cannot subtract 15 from 30. Okay, so this will give us a negative numbers, a negative quantity of minutes, which is not accepted. So in order to do so, what we will do is that this can be considered to be 21. So taking 1 hour here and adding it to the minutes, which is 60 minutes. So I have taken 1 hour from the 22, then it will be given by 21, and each 1 hour corresponds to 60 minutes. Then this can be written as 21, so 60 plus 15 is given by 75, minus 20:30. Now subtracting these two instant times, 21 minus 20 is given by 1 hour, 75, sorry, here I have added another 0 by mistake. 75 minus 30 is given by 45, and we have no numbers for seconds. Then this is given by 1 hour 45 minutes. Since they didn't specify the unit of duration, we need to calculate to the SI, knowing that each hour contains 3600 seconds and each minute contains 60 seconds. So this one is because we have 1 hour, and this 45 because we have 45 minutes multiplied by 60. Now plugging this on the calculator, we have that the duration delta t is given by 6300 seconds. So delta t and finally for the last part, we have that a class session begins at 8 hours, 8 o'clock. So 8 hours according to the reading of the stopwatch is given by this, and T2 is given by this. So according to the reading of the stopwatch, now the duration delta t, so we will start by writing the definition, which is given by T2 minus T1, which is equal to 14. Sorry. Minus 0.8. Sorry, here it is 1440. So subtracting the hours, 14 minus 8 will give us 6. 40, because here the minutes is 0 and the seconds is 0. So this is given by 6 hours, 40 minutes. So each hour contains 3600 seconds and each minute contains 60 seconds. Now plugging this on the calculator, we have that the duration delta t separating, or the duration of the class, is given by 24,000 seconds. So delta t is equal to 24,000 seconds. So that's it for me in this video, guys. In the next part, part 2, we will complete the explanation of this chapter.